We love sharing rebrand stories here on Swaay.Health. It's always interesting to learn why an organization chooses to change the look and positioning of their brand. Well, on this episode, we are going to be talking to the leadership team at Ramsoft. I caught up with Ramsoft's CEO, Vijay Ramanathan, and Chief Marketing Officer, Rob Sandler, at their newly rebranded offices in downtown Toronto. One of the questions I wanted to ask them was what they learned about themselves through their rebrand process. Let's get to it. Vijay, Rob, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
And thank you for having me down here at your office. I don't get a chance to come in person very often, so I relish the chance. So thank you for letting us come down here and do this video from your space. Now, the reason why I'm here is you guys just went through a nice rebrand. And as you know, on Swaay.Health, we love talking about rebrand stories. But before we dive into that, Vijay, Rob, can you introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about Ramsoft?
Sure. I'm Vijay Ramanathan, the CEO and co-founder of Ramsoft. Really what we do is solutions for the radiology industry to automate workflow, to speed up reporting, and now to help patients get their results and control their journey. Rob?
That's great. Thank you. I'm Rob Sandler. I take care of marketing here at Ramsoft. And, Ramsoft really is this amazing story. It's a Canadian success story. Vijay and his father and his brother started this company 30 years ago. And there are hundreds and hundreds of sites worldwide and many thousands of users using the technology very early in the cloud. But it still feels very much like a startup. So the innovation, the use of AI, really enabling clients and really leveraging the global infrastructure based here in Toronto, helping clients worldwide. And as Vijay said, a heavy focus on helping the operations of imaging companies and imaging practices. But really with the goal of accelerating patient care. That's really the ultimate vision that Vijay has for the company.
Full disclosure, Vijay, you and I have known each other for a long time. and I've certainly watched Ramsoft grow and the success you've had. But tell me, what was it about now that necessitated a rebrand?
Sure. So, look, we have been serving our clients for 30 years now. We're actually just celebrating our 30th anniversary this year. And believe it or not, so much has changed in 30 years. One thing has not, right? Which is, the need to accelerate patient care was the same 30 years ago as it is today, right? And fundamentally, medical imaging is really the first step that happens in patient care, right? Normally, you're not really sure what's wrong with you as a patient. One of the early steps, maybe you get an order for a blood test, and then maybe you get an order for an imaging exam, right? And you go get the scan, and then your care really begins, right? And so that is the same today as it was 30 years ago, right? And fortunately, technology has changed tremendously over the last 30 years, right? If you just kind of imagine, every patient today has a computer in their pocket that is more powerful than the computers that were in the teaching hospitals 30 years ago, right? So if you kind of think of it that way, I've got more power in my pocket than maybe Mass General had when we started 30 years ago, right?
Sure thing.
So this is a big deal, right? And so what we have done at Ramsoft, historically, we produce software for healthcare providers, right? We helped imaging centers, we helped radiology practices, physician practices, hospital, all optimize their workflow and do their job faster, right? So, it's always been about accelerated care, and we've simplified that down to accelerated imaging, right? In 2 words, that is what Ramsoft does. But there's one thing very, very different that we are doing now in 2024, right? Is for the first time, we're also serving patients, right? So, historically, most of our industry has only focused on the healthcare provider, right? And at the end of the day, the needs of a patient are very different from a healthcare provider, right? As a patient, you want your results, right? You want to get your images, you want to get your report, you want to be able to book appointments, you want to be able to share your records with other healthcare providers, with your friends, with your family, and you want to be able to do all of this with your phone, right? This is what Ramsoft has introduced in 2024. Our latest product, called Bloom, is an app that is exclusively designed for patients.
And so is it coincide the rebrand with the launch of Bloom and the reason for, kind of refreshing what coming from the old brand to the new brand?
100%, right? Because, the 30 years of serving healthcare providers, simply allows us and enables us to now serve healthcare providers and patients, right? And this is absolutely the reason for the rebrand. It's time for a fresh look, right? We're not the same company that we've been for the last 30 years. We're now a company that does more.
So as you look at your new brand compared to your old brand, what would you say the new brand stands for that your old one didn't? Other than now being for patients.
So I would say the other piece is the focus on accelerated imaging, right? And the need for speed in 2024 is simply unparalleled due to the shortage of radiologists.
Rob, a question for you. Walk me through the rebrand process. How did you start? Walk me through, and then how you arrived at the new look for Ramsoft.
Sure, of course. So we actually started with the customers, which is always a really great place to start. So I've been with the company for just under a year. And the first thing I did was try and understand why are people so loyal to Ramsoft, and why is it about the company and the service package and the products that make this company so sticky. And so we started gathering stories, and like you, we started taking video to hear the customers talk about what was making a difference. I've never actually worked at a company where so many of our staff members used to be customers. It's quite amazing. And so these are the stories the customers said. They said, the company does what they say they're going to do. They help us with these really complex workflows and scenarios that we have. It's all about speed. So bring it to me faster, whatever it is. And then how to include patients and patient engagement. So to your question about process, we started with the customer. We started with those insights. Then we started building an infrastructure. We have an amazing, small but amazing internal team. And then we use 2 amazing outside agencies. So we try to, there's color, there's naming convention, there's tagline positioning. And so we really settled on imaging accelerated, which is really driven by workflow accelerated, and it's all about patient care. And so those 3 components So that became our positioning, our tagline. Then how do we sort of capture that from a graphical perspective? And so we worked at our name. The Ramsoft name has a really strong set of attributes, but frankly, it looked a little dated. So how do we make it more contemporary? How do the watermarks, how do all the elements become, associated with speed and accessibility? And so the lowercase letters. And so we went through that process, the whole website redesign. So what do people really want to know? The truth is, they don't want to know about our products. They have problems. So share your challenge, share your problem. We'll tell you the solution set that we'd love to offer. And the website should operate as smartly and intuitively and quickly as our software does. And so how do we reimagine the website, and then how do we bring all of our customer voices front and center? And so that was really the process. We worked on a really tight deadline. It was about 3 months, and we it's not just a new brand. It's also addressing 30 years of I hate the word legacy, but 30 years of amazing content that really needs to be, some of it reimagined, some of it brought front and center, some of it refreshed, and so it was a great process. We kept on touching base with our customers throughout to say, like, are we in the right direction? Is this the company that you think you've been dealing with? Do the two meet? Is this something that you'd be proud of?
And what has the customer's reaction been to the new brand now that you've unveiled it? Has there been any? What's the feedback been?
Oh, I think the reaction has actually been quite phenomenal. I would say the most impressive thing is, we have received numerous calls from our existing customers asking about the new patient app, right? How can I get it? When can I get it? What does it cost? How quickly can I have it? These are the questions that are coming to us, primarily driven by the branding.
What's the employee reaction been to the new branding?
I would say from an employee perspective, the responses would be something like, thanks so much. This is the company I feel like. It now looks like the company I feel I'm working for. And, the tools, everyone wants to do the best possible work. I mean, I think at the end of the day, we're lucky enough to work in healthcare, and with all the challenges that bring, people want to make a difference, and we can see that we're making a difference. But when you work for a company that looks and feels like the place and the brand and the essence and the friends and teams that you're working with, like it's an amazing experience. I think that's the element that really feels great. It's amazing when customers say that. It's really amazing when your team and your company is like, yes, thank you. Like, can I get the business card? Is there a t-shirt? Like, can I get the PowerPoint template? It's the best possible feeling. It's like, when you got it.
When people demand swag based on your new brand, you've done something well, totally. Right? Like that's a really good sign. Totally. So along this journey, I mean, it sounds like it was relatively short, but a big build-up to this. What did you learn about yourselves going through this rebrand?
I think this is where the introspection is actually very valuable, right? So this was really really my first opportunity to go through a rebrand with Rob here, right? And he took us through a very methodical process to the rebrand, right? So there was nothing rushed. We actually had numerous sessions on, what does this mean, right? What is this to you, right? Like and part of it is Rob really wanted to understand the 30 years of history that went into Ramsoft, so that we could then align on the rebrand, right? And so there are a couple things that you wouldn't possibly know otherwise, right? So our Ramsoft colors today are a blue and green, right? Yeah, okay, a particular shade of blue and a particular shade of green, right? And so, one interesting fact, right? Growing up as a child, my favorite color was always blue, right? And our other co-founder, my brother, his favorite color was always green, right? So, it all ties together.
And there's also another lesson, I'd say, from a marketer's perspective. You spend so much time thinking about, what attributes do the colors invoke? What emotions do they tie to? Like, can we pull on a little bit of orange, or is that too aggressive? And you do all the science, and then you do all the soft stuff, and then you come into the meeting and you think, oh my God, please let Vijay and Shiva, let my arrow be close to where the bullseye needs to be. And then Vijay literally says, well, blue was my favorite color. And actually, kind of this blue, we call it purple, like blue and purple. It's like, yeah, kind of like that. And then Shiva says, yeah. And I was the green guy, like kind of like this green. And so, yeah, there are these moments where you think, okay, like I think we like it was meant to be in a special way. And I would say the other thing is, if you think about even just the name Ramsoft, just presented visually slightly differently, it has a different connotation. But at the same time, we never wanted to lose that family connection. I mean, I didn't realize this, but only 5% of companies actually get to their 30th anniversary, and we're there, and we're a technology company where that time frame is even shorter, and so it's like, how do we share those early memories? How do we share those family connections? Because Shiva and Vijay are still very much a part of the company, and the legacy is very much a part of the company. But in a sense, some of the technology is very, very new. And so also, how do we take Ramsoft and make it new, and at the same time also pay homage to the 30 years that came before? So lots of amazing experiences. A great question, and it was a great project, because it wasn't like, okay, how do we blow this all up? It was more like, how do we really take this? How do we bring the voice of the customer? How do we bring what's happening today? And then how do we make that into a sort of a brand experience?
You guys have shared so much great information with us today. Where can people go to learn more about Ramsoft?
www.ramsoft.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you, gentlemen, for being on the program today. And thank you again for allowing us to come down to your office to film this and to experience the brand firsthand with this lovely green.
Thank you so much, Colin.
Thank you very much.
Hey, I really want to thank Vijay and Rob for their hospitality. It was a lot of fun being at their office to talk about how their rebrand coincided with the focus on patient solutions for imaging to go alongside their traditional solutions for radiologists and practices. And hey, if you enjoyed this interview as much as I enjoyed being part of it, please like and subscribe. And also head on over to Swaay.Health. That's Sway with 2 A's, .health for more great content like this. I'm Colin Hung. Thanks for being here, and I'll catch you on the next episode.